Miss Transporters 96 here with another review. This time we have the Batman Arkham Knight Scarecrow from DC Direct. So yeah, so Scarecrow is the only one that I have at the moment. I do plan to get Harley Quinn as well as the Arkham Knight himself. I think I'm going to skip Batman from this first series though. So overall the packaging style is very much changed. Here's the new and old style packaging together. Obviously, I'll be showing the Scarecrow later in the review, but as you can see, they've changed completely. This was more of a cardback style of packaging with the Batman cowl kind of designed in the actual plastic there, and that's more for just like hanging on pegs. Well, this is more of a box style. I like this new look a lot. I think it's really great. I have nothing against the old one, but the new one is quite nice, looking very good. Just a pretty plain rectangle, but it kind of curves off on one end, and just has a nice, clean, very displayable look. There's a lot less of these that are going to be damaged than like the other style packaging. It's easier to keep these nice, and of course, if you do open them, it's very easy to keep the package in good condition, as well as to put your figure back in and seal it up so that it looks like it's never been opened, which is, you know, kind of nice for display purposes. Get a nice kind of almost like a blueprinted image of Scarecrow there, and on the back you get that same type of image of Scarecrow and the figures in the first series. As you can see, Batman, Arkham Knight, Scarecrow, and Harley Quinn. Evidently, it looks like Harley Quinn, Scarecrow, and Batman are out. The Arkham Knight, he is not, though. He is still on pre-order from everybody. I can't find a single person on eBay or anywhere that actually has the Arkham Knight in stock at this moment. So I don't know why that's the case. Maybe he'll just be delayed for like a week or two, or maybe he will come out substantially later than the rest of them, and I do not know why that is the case, but hopefully they'll get him out soon, because I am looking forward to that one. So overall, really do loving that new style package, and I'm glad they changed it up. It looks pretty good. Maybe if you keep all your figures mint, then you'd rather have a more unified look throughout your Arkham collection. But for anybody who opens the package, I think that that's definitely going to be a better one. So yeah, so overall, I'm a huge Scarecrow fan. I absolutely love Scarecrow from all forms of media. So of course, I am stoked that he is the main villain in Arkham Knight, and that's why I had to get this figure. I do collect Arkham, so this was one that I was super excited for, and rightfully so. Going over the actual detail here, that's of course where DC Direct figures seem to shine. As you can see, that face sculpt is looking great. Just the actual design of Scarecrow is really nice in this new movie. I like it a lot. He's got a very creepy type of look there. It's almost like he's wearing almost like a white kind of bag that's stitched up in the mouth area that just has white glowing eyes, and then just a little bit of the breathing tanks kind of going under it, like he's wearing a breathing tank underneath it, and a bunch of cords and wires coming out the bottom, which is just super cool. You can see a bit of his neck there, his actual neck, without like a mask on it, which is interesting. You can pull the hood back and really get a good look at the head. They did sculpt everything and paint it well, which is nice. They didn't just stop the paint right where the hood would take over, so that's kind of neat. And then the hood is soft plastic, and it's just a little ring that goes around his neck there. I suppose you could remove it. His head might be able to pop off, and then you should be able to remove it easily. Otherwise, you'd have to cut a bit of the front of it to remove it. I don't know why you'd want to remove it, though, overall. The actual costume itself, like the brown costume underneath, is quite nice. I like that they've got some score marks at the bottom there, which looks cool. And then it is all sewed together. Yeah, there's some areas with it where there's a lot of nice detail in it, and somewhere it's just a little more plain, but it still looks very cool. And I do like the stitching throughout it. When you get down to his, I don't know what you'd call this, almost like just a little skirt almost, I guess you can say. It's very nicely detailed. I like that they didn't go with anything crazy, like with it blowing in the wind completely or anything. They went with a more simple look, which looks good, and they've got brown with a lot of black washed into it. Gives it a really neat, realistic type of look, as well as you do have the stitching throughout there as well. And the stitches are all actually sculpted on. They're not just painted, which is very nice, of course. When you go over his more mechanical instruments on top of his costume, as you can see there, he has like just a little, like that might even be like a metal panel, but just like maybe it's just like a leather kind of strap thing that goes over him to hold the tanks of fear gas, as well as I guess like fear bullets or something. I'm not sure, maybe like little grenades or something. And then on the back there you get a couple more little tanks. Very nice, definitely looking good there. And When we come down to this arm, as you can see, it does have a bunch of straps on it, as well as little like almost like cords that go from this little circle down to this one. And then you do have his very famous tank arm, I guess you can call it, where he actually does distribute the fear gas, which is just really cool. That's one of the great designs from the Arkham. I mean, originally they did it in Asylum, and it's just a really neat design for Scarecrow to have. I like it a lot. It definitely has some great detail in there, and then you can see all the little needles. The needle right here, that one was actually bent completely in package. When I saw that, I was so disappointed. But I just got like a very little knife to just kind of bend it back up, and it completely stayed. So it actually is very nice that it doesn't, like, it didn't break or anything, and it doesn't have like a cut in it or something like that. It completely bent right back, nice and easy, and didn't have to fuss with it again. So very happy about that. So even if you do see one in package where it is bent, you shouldn't have to worry, because it should just be able to bend right back with no problem or resistance whatsoever. Going down to the pants here, he does have wires that are connected to just his legs there. They are kind of like taped down almost. He does have a little tear in his pants. Looking cool. I do like the boot on this side. It's very nice. And then the shoelaces are actually like, they're not quite attached, or they're not just like sculpted onto the boot. They're actually separate pieces, which is cool. I like the brace on this leg. Possibly Killer Croc breaks his leg or something when he takes him away in Asylum there, so possibly that's how he gets that. But overall, it looks really good there. You've got the same boot with that's, you know, sculpted differently, of course, because these little flaps aren't hanging down, because the brace is actually keeping it stable and up. So it's kind of neat, and I like that there's not a lot of symmetry with this guy. He's very different on both sides, which is cool, and it does affect his articulation on both sides, and that's one thing that I'm going to go over now. His articulation it's okay. You know, you're not going to get a whole lot of dynamic poses with this guy, but you can, you know, get a couple cool stances. Overall, he does have a ball jointed neck. It doesn't go up or down really at all. It really just swivels, and it's not as hindered as you may think it would be with a full with the full hood, as well as all the hoses and everything. You'd expect it to barely be able to move at all, and it doesn't move like great or anything, but you can get him to look both ways, which is nice. He has ball hinge shoulders, which, you know, are a little stiff moving him up, and because of DC Direct's track record, you might want to be careful with those shoulders there, because they you know, split on people a lot. Maybe they fixed it for this new Arkham Knight line, though, who knows. He's got a bicep swivel on his left arm, which is a little tough on mine. I had to kind of break it out when I first got it out of the package. He has a hinge on the elbow here. Was really hoping this was a swivel, because I'd like to keep his clothing looking like this, but be able to swivel the arm. That would have been nice. And then he just has swivel, kind of like, I guess there is a small ball joint in there. It's really just a swivel, though. Unfortunately, the joint is kind of down, so you can like see the joint. You can see like the little peg from his hand to his wrist there, which is a little annoying. It might just be annoying me, though, but it annoys me for some reason. Then you've got his hands there looking very creepy. His hands are kind of small, but I don't think that looks bad. It's just kind of interesting. His skin tone is very strange, though. It's like, it's super pale. Like, you know, it's like overly done pale, almost with like a purplish type of look. You know, it's so close to that. So I think that might just be a little overdone. Possibly it looks good in the game, though, so it's hard for me to judge it at the moment. But even like the tears here, it's almost hard to tell that those are tears, because it's so pale there that it doesn't even look like it's skin underneath. You know, you can obviously see the skin on the legs there, though. It does look neat, though. The articulation on this arm, he has a swivel at the lower bicep, almost closer to the elbow. He's got a hinge at the elbow, and these little hoses, the ring that they're on up here and then the ring that they're on down here, can swivel. So you can swivel them out of the way so that you can still bend the elbow and have it, you know, not be hurting those little hoses there. So I am happy about that. He's got a swivel. Oh, sorry, he actually doesn't have a swivel on the mechanical arm, which is annoying, I have to say. And then he has a swivel on the hand, which is connected to the needles. You have a ball jointed waist there. It can go down just a bit, but mostly just swivels. Ball jointed thighs, and on this leg it's just a hinge at the knee, swivel at the boot, and then hinge at the ankles. On this one here, you do have a thigh swivel, which is quite nice. He has a hinge at the knee and hinges at the braces too, so you know the brace will actually hinge as well, which is nice. And then no swivel at the boot and a hinge at the ankle. So it's, you know, with his odd symmetry there, he has has different articulation on his different limbs, which is kind of neat. So overall articulation is decent. You're not going to be able to do anything crazy with him, but you can get him in, you know, a couple nice looks, which is cool. Comparing him to the first Scarecrow here from the Arkham Asylum game. I do have it in package, as you saw earlier. You know, I think that I might get that 4-pack that they have with the Asylum that has the Scarecrow in it, so that I can have one open, because I definitely do love Scarecrow. So I definitely want to keep this one in package, but I'd love to have an open one. Their looks are very different, but still maintain the same similar design with the hood, the breathing mask, the same colors all stitched together, and of course the mechanical needle arm there. Overall, I like the design of Asylum better. I think he just looks a lot cooler and more interesting, and almost a bit more of a really creepy cartoon type of look. And I like the very skinny, waist there. We can see his ribs and the kind of overly done needle hand. I think that stuff looks really cool. While this one is a little bit more realistic, the mechanical needle arm is much more toned down. The breathing hoses are the breathing oxygen tanks are much smaller, and he still maintains the same level of creepiness, if not even more creepiness. But he's a little bit more realistic. So overall, I like the design of Asylum better. But personally, I have no problem with their design of Arkham Knight Scarecrow. I think he looks great, and I think that this does not scream main villain to me. This is very much a side villain type of look, because he's very kind of odd. While this one over here, it can definitely be seen as a main villain. He's more realistic, and he's not so goofy. He looks like he can lead and not just be one of the crazy villains. So overall, I am happy with their new design, although I do still maintain a lot of respect for the first one. Here he is compared to an Arkham City Batman. He's quite tall. I mean, he's as tall as Batman. He makes Batman look a little small. I mean, I think that my camera is making it look worse than it actually is, but he actually makes Batman look a lot smaller than he should. So I don't, maybe the new Batman is more in scale, but I feel like this is not a great scale. It looks a little strange to me, but that might just be me. Overall, really liking this Scarecrow. One thing that he comes with, which I really love, is this mask. Get a close-up on the mask here. Looking super sick. Really love it. Very creepy and scary and everything. I'll be very interested to see what this mask is all about in the game. You can put it over his hood, just kind of like this. There we go. And, just have it like that, which looks super creepy and neat and everything. You can put it under his hood, like actually over his head. But I feel like the strap is a little too long for that. Here you go. I mean, I think that looks better. But it kind of bends his hood in a weird way. But I think that does look a lot better. That's really awesome right there. Super cool. A really neat accessory that in the product pictures was never shown, so it was kind of more of a surprise, which I like a lot. And definitely something that I'll be really interested to see how that works in the game. I think that's going to be really awesome to see him like this in the game. Overall, I'm super happy to get this figure, and I'm super excited to see him in the game. And huge Scarecrow fan, like I said, so very excited. He does have a mild, issue standing up, but with his little kind of cape here, you can stabilize him a bit more, as well as with the hinged ankles. You can just, as long as you have time just to work around with him, you will be able to get him to stand up. So that's not a problem, but just something small that I thought I'd mention. Overall, a great figure. Would highly recommend it to any Arkham fan, and I'm super happy with it. Thanks so much for watching.